In May 2026, the artificial intelligence industry split into two separate realities. Anthropic announced a historic Series H funding round that valued the company at an astonishing $965 billion. This valuation officially moved Anthropic past OpenAI as the most valuable private AI developer in the world. At the same time, Google introduced Gemini Omni, a multimodal system that functions as an interactive world model. Gemini Omni processes text, audio, images, and video within a single pass, an approach that current single-turn generators were not built to replicate. For developers and investors, this shift indicates that lightweight API wrappers and rapid software prototyping can no longer secure a competitive advantage against trillion-dollar infrastructure. To survive in the current market, a company must possess massive physical compute capacity or a fundamentally more efficient way to process it. These two events are linked by the same core constraint. Physical compute has become the absolute bottleneck that dictates who controls the market. Anthropic's current financial dominance is the result of a rapid scaling of its enterprise revenue. Comparing annualized revenue, Anthropic has reached $47 billion, 35% more than OpenAI. This fuels a capital loop, where venture funding is instantly recycled into infrastructure. $15 billion from this round flowed directly back to hardware providers, Amazon and SpaceX. This includes a $100 billion deal with Amazon to secure 5 gigawatts of computing capacity over the next decade. By locking in this physical runway, Anthropic has positioned itself for a public market debut expected in late 2026. While OpenAI built its business around consumer subscriptions for ChatGPT, Anthropic focused on becoming the infrastructure of choice for large-scale enterprise developers. To maintain this position, the company is also making strategic moves to establish legitimacy on the global stage. They recently signed a $200 million partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to apply their models to global health and education. For Anthropic, the trillion-dollar crown wasn't secured through code alone. It was won by hoarding the raw physical infrastructure required to run it. Operating at this scale inevitably forces interaction with sovereign military interests. Anthropic initially accepted a $200 million defense contract with the federal government. Under that deal, Claude became the only advanced AI model cleared to run on highly classified national security networks. But negotiations collapsed when CEO Dario Amodei refused to let the military use Claude for autonomous lethal warfare or the surveillance of American citizens. The response from the Department of Defense was immediate. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth labeled Anthropic a supply chain risk, leading to a presidential order that blacklisted the company from all federal work. This standoff coincided with the accidental leak of Project Glasswing, a massive data breach that exposed Anthropic's internal research. The documents revealed a model called Claude Mythos, which operates on a new capybara tier, designed to sit entirely above their previous flagship, Opus. Mythos demonstrated the ability to automate the discovery of zero-day exploits in software. This confirmed that Anthropic's safety restrictions are a response to documented technical risks, not a branding exercise. As models become national security assets, developers must now choose between compromising their safety alignment for defense contracts or facing federal exile. While Anthropic secures dominance through physical compute, Google is attempting to solve the same bottleneck through a more efficient architecture. Under Demis Hassabis, Google DeepMind developed Gemini Omni to shift the industry from static generation to real-time interactive creation. Industry standards like OpenAI's Sora 2 and Seedance 2.0 produce excellent visuals, but they rely on a cascaded design. In cascaded pipelines, audio and image inputs are converted into text descriptions, effectively flattening them before rendering. Gemini Omni's any architecture removes these intermediary steps. Text, audio, image, and video are processed together in one unified pass, preserving rich context without text conversion loss. The core of this system functions through a dual-layer approach. A cognitive layer interprets the combined inputs and spatial context, while a separate generation layer executes the final render. This allows the model to act as a world model. Instead of just matching pixel patterns, the system incorporates an intuitive understanding of physics, including gravity, mass, and fluid dynamics. Because the model remembers the state of the world it's creating, users can edit specific elements through a conversation, changing a background or a character's clothing without starting the generation over from scratch. The result is a shift from simple video generation to interactive editing, where the model maintains physical and contextual memory across every turn. But deploying an interactive world model at scale created a massive operational cost. Running these native multimodal systems requires unprecedented levels of inference compute. The strain was so high that Google had to abandon its fixed message pricing model almost immediately after launch. They replaced it with a rolling 5-hour compute-based quota that drains faster or slower depending on the complexity of the prompt. Users quickly complained that complex video requests were exhausting their entire weekly allowance in a single session. A system bug even caused some Gemini Omni requests to drain user quotas before the video had actually finished processing. Google was forced to issue emergency adjustments, doubling the allocations for pro users and shifting lighter text-based tasks to the less demanding Gemini 3.1 flashlight model. This crisis proved that architectural breakthroughs mean little if the underlying hardware cannot sustain the cost of running them for the public. We are currently living through a fundamental realignment of the AI market. Success is now defined by the marriage of massive physical infrastructure monopolies and these new, unified model architectures. Whether the goal is Anthropic's enterprise dominance or Google's multimodal workflows, raw compute remains the absolute bottleneck. Audit your own tech stack. If your production depends on cascaded, single-turn pipelines, you are working with an obsolete model. Use the architectural guide below to transition to a conversational world model before the next compute shift.